What do I actually do? Can I help you? Is it worth it? And more. This week I'm answering all of your frequently asked questions and assumptions that you have about me. Hey guys, welcome to my channel this week. It is great to have you here. I just wanted to have a chat, so grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, whatever it is, and let's sit back and have a chat together. So my business is a bit of an unusual one and it's not a common thing. So it can be really hard for people to understand what do I do and have some assumptions about it. So as a quick background to how I ended up here. So I'm from an education background. So I trained, got a Bachelor of Education and I've worked primarily in primary school and I've done so many different roles in schools from curriculum and admin and staff coaching and well-being and stage leading and classroom teaching, RFF teaching. I've had so many different varied roles in my career in teaching. And then obviously once I became a mum, everything changes, right? You start to question who you are, what you're doing, what you value, what you get satisfaction from. And that was, when I had my daughter, was the shifting point for me. So when I had my daughter, I had a really rough start. I suffered really severe postnatal depression and anxiety, and it wasn't treated properly. It wasn't picked up, and I did not get the support that I needed. And it was actually a really scary time. And in reflection, there were actually some medical professionals that were negligent. And thankfully, I had my husband there to kind of pull me through and to keep persisting to get the help that I need and really supporting me through that, because if I didn't have him, it would be a very different ending to that story. And so after I had experienced that, I was just so frustrated by the system, and that while I was pregnant, all the care was mother-centered. And then as soon as you have your baby, it's completely baby-centered care. And our babies are important and we need care for our babies, but we also need care as mothers, right? And when our baby is born, we are also born as a mother, and we are going through this huge transition mentally, emotionally, physically. There is so much going on. And so that's when my passion really started with helping women, because I really just wanted to, in some way, if I could support women to not go through an experience like I had or as bad as I had, and be a voice and a space where I can support, empower, and encourage women to just really enjoy motherhood and live their best life, because it's terrible when you experience the opposite. So it took me a while to figure out what that looks like for me. And it wasn't until I had my son just 2 years later that I decided to re-study. So re-studying always sounded like a really scary thing to me. Hadn't even finished off paying my first degree, let alone going back and studying again. Could I really do it with kids? The financial stress on the family after 2 bouts of maternity leave. There was a lot to consider. And that's why I then opted for a condensed 12-month program online, and that's where I studied at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition to be a holistic health coach. And then since then, obviously, I've narrowed down into helping women and families. And then since I've completed that study, I've also completed some other short courses that assist me in my work and my business that I do there. So because it is a very unique business and approach in ways I'm doing things, people can struggle to understand exactly what I do and can have some huge assumptions about what I do, which is totally fair. So let's just chat through some of those today. So what do I actually do is the first question, which is a great question. So what I actually do is I primarily work with women one-on-one, women who have young kids. And so I consider young kids kind of toddlers to late primary school. If you have a newborn, you need different support to me. You need someone like a postpartum doula, and you don't want to be focusing on routines and meal prep and some of the things that I do when you have a newborn, because that is just not realistic. And so if you have a newborn, keep following along, because I know you'll pick up great things and you'll eventually get to that season. But I also encourage you to reach out to someone like a postpartum doula. They would be the best support for you. So my work is, primarily with toddlers to kind of late primary, because that is where my expertise are, right? In my Bachelor of Education and child development and everything that I've worked with is that age range. So Now that that's clear, that's who I work with, mums with young kids. That's who young kids are. So I work with them to develop habits and routines and give them tools and strategies to make real life real easy. So there's a lot in motherhood that we just have to do. There's no option. We have to feed our children every day. We have to get the washing done. We might even have to work. That might not be an option for us. So there's lots in our day that can make it chaotic and busy. But there are two ways that we can approach motherhood, right? It can be chaotic and busy, and we can be drowning in overwhelm and struggling and just enduring our life and not happy. Or we can be doing those daily tasks with calm and rhythms and routines and habits and tools that just make that process easier. So you're enjoying your days and you actually create time and space for what's important for you. For you, that might be alone time. It might be the gym. It might be quality time with your family. It might be holidaying with your family. There are many different things that it can mean for you, but I help you create that time and space so you are getting satisfaction and fulfillment out of your life as a mother and not just feeling like you're working yourself to the bone every single day. So how do I do that? Well, primarily what we do is we work together for 6 sessions. Now, 6 sessions is the minimum that I like to work with women. Those sessions can be weekly, fortnightly, or monthly. You get to choose what works with your budget and your schedule. And those 6 sessions allow us the time to develop habits and routines and tools. It gives you time to implement them and trial them, to come back and talk about what went really well or what was an epic fail, and for me to help you refine those so we can refine it until you figure out your routines and your habits and your tools that work for your family. So that's why the 6 sessions are really important, because in a one-off session, sure, we can chat and I can give you some tips and tools, but then you're left to your own. And if it doesn't work, you'll probably give up and go back to old habits. So that's why the 6 sessions are really important, so we can work through that together. And it also means that you have me there as a support, because I give free email and text message communication between your sessions. So if you need to ask a question, if you need support, I'm right there for you. And you are more likely to be successful in your lifestyle changes and in implementing things if you have that support person there. So that is what it looks like when I work with women. Now, 6 sessions is just the starting point. I have some women that I work with ongoing. So they get to the end of their 6 sessions and they bulk buy another 6 sessions, and they have done that multiple times over and over. So 6 sessions is generally the starting point, and then, it's completely up to you. In everything that I do, I want to make sure that it is personalized to you, your family, your budget, your lifestyle, because we're all different. And so I just can't give you one standard thing and be like, here are the 4 tools to success, off you go. We're all different. And that's another reason why the 6 sessions are so important, because there is no one way, right? We have to figure it out together, what's going to work for you. Now, another thing I hear a lot of the time is women say, I don't want to invest in myself to purchase those sessions. I would just feel so guilty for taking that money out of the family budget. And, I get that. I hate that we feel that way, but I understand it because, I've been there, and I felt that way when I was deciding to restudy and launch my business, right? Because it wasn't just a decision for me, it was a decision for the whole family because it impacted all of us. But you have to think big picture. This investment, or the investment in the 6 sessions, is not just going to impact you. It is not just a selfish choice. It is going to impact your whole family. And I have had so many women contact me and say, you have no idea how you've changed our whole life. You just haven't helped me, but you've helped my kids, you've helped my husband. Our whole household has changed since working with you. And so that's the way you've got to think about it. You've got to think about it as the big picture. So while you feel like you're just investing in yourself because you are doing it for you, you are the one meeting with me, but the tools and the systems and the things that we're putting in place is going to impact your whole family. The other way to look at it is if you start feeling better about yourself, more confident in who you are as a mum, and if you are happier in your life as a mother, that in itself is going to flow on in the way that you interact with your kids and your partner. And so that is going to have a positive impact as well. So I totally understand that whole mum guilt thing of, I don't want to invest in myself. I feel bad, financially taking just for me from the family. But if you think about it in the big picture, it really does impact everyone, and it is a worthwhile investment. All right, another big assumption or thing that women struggle with is, if I get your help, I feel like a failure and I feel shame. And again, I hate that in society, we have been conditioned to feel that way as mothers. I can sympathize and empathize with those feelings because I have been there and I have felt it. I've worked through that and overcome that. And I'm still just so angry that is just a barrier for so many women. So I understand it because we're really made to feel in modern society that a mum should be able to do it all and have it all together. And if she can't, she is a failure. That is not the case at all. And I am never here to judge. Like, I see so many different women, from women who have just finished uni or early in their career and are preparing for families. I see women in the chaos and the mess of families. And I've even seen women like in their 40s and 50s where they have teenage and adult children. I see so many different things, and I'm never here to judge. I'm just here to help. And, from what I shared with my story at the beginning of this video is I'm just so passionate about empowering and helping women. So I want to tell you that asking for help does not mean that you are a failure, and you should not feel shame about that. And, self-growth and self-development is actually a really courageous thing, because if you're struggling, you have two choices. You keep struggling and you pretend like you've got it all together to appease this notion that we need to have it all together as mothers or we're failures, or you take the brave route and you acknowledge, I need help, and you get the help, and then life is better for everyone. So as I said, I understand it and I get it, but you're not a failure and you shouldn't feel shame. And, if you need the help, getting the help is the brave thing to do. And I just really hope that you can feel empowered to do that. All right, last assumption for today, then I feel like I should wrap it up. And the assumption is that you come to me and I will tell you everything you need to do to make your life a success, and we're done, and it's easy. As I've previously mentioned, there is no one way. We are all different and we're all individual. So when you come to me, you need to come with an open mind, and you need to be prepared to be vulnerable, to talk about your struggles, to talk about what you find difficult, to talk about what your goals and your dream life is about, because those are the real conversations that really help us get to root problems, to really help us get to what your deep desires are, which then helps us put a plan together to help you achieve that. So when you come to me, it is not a one-stop fix. I do not have the 7 secrets to cure everything, but what I do have is the tools and strategies to help you figure it out. And I promise you that together we can figure it out. Well, thanks for joining me for a coffee and chat today, or a tea, or whatever you had. It's been great to just really talk, and I guess for even myself, be a bit more vulnerable and share a bit more. And if you have any other questions, please, send me a message, jump over to Instagram. Let's have a chat in my DMs, and I'm always happy and open. Love chatting to women and happy to answer any more of your questions. I hope you have a really great week, and I will see you here again next Thursday for a brand new video.